and it is time for the grand finals of Stage 1. This is the CWL Global Pro League, and we are down to our final two teams. First, let's hear for the squad that went undefeated through the winner's bracket. Give it up for Splyce. The Europeans here in the grand final match, trying to do something that no other EU team has ever accomplished, to walk away with this trophy. But first, they're gonna have to get through the new juggernauts, the squad that has been taking out all of the biggest names. Envy, Optic, United, all gone. FaZe, their most recent opponent, has been vanquished. Let's hear it for Luminosity. The match is set. $320,000 up for grabs in this match alone. Who's walking away with the lion's share? We're about to find out. Benson and crew, let's get this game started.
It all comes down to this. We started stage 1 with 16 teams. Now just 2 remain. Our grand final about to get underway. You guys are such characters.
I miss being next to Joe. I'm sorry, we're live.
You're good. Splyce versus Luminosity. A European team finds their way into a North American final. Can it be done? Can Europe finally win on North America?
I believe this is the Global Pro League, not a North American final. Yes, it can be done. I think this team is so talented all around the board. Again, we've talked about Zero, how great of an event he's had, but also on this team, Bance, Jerd, Madcat, all of them are just so talented.
I feel like we need to talk about Octane versus Zero.
That's all I'm looking forward to right now. Sorry, everyone else. Zero versus Octane. That's all I'm gonna say. That's what I really want to see.
MVP versus MVP. I think if you decide whoever wins, I think they're the 2 players that realistically are going to walk away with it without a shadow of a doubt. Who has the advantage though, Proof? Who is it?
I would say Octane, because his teammates have been backing him up so well right now. I mean, LG has been playing like a perfect team. Not to take anything away from Splyce, I'm sticking with NA.
Fair enough. All right. I see where your allegiance lies.
In between these EU guys.
I know, Aches, you've been saying, I think you said really at the start of yesterday, this is Splyce's tournament. They can win this. You still believe that?
I do. I looked also at the map set for both the set 1 and set 2. They both kind of favor Splyce in the sense that if Splyce can get it done in the first 3 maps here, I think they win the first set. But if not, we go to the second set and there's another Scorch Hardpoint. They'll never lose a Scorch Hardpoint in my opinion. But for here, I see a game 1 going Splyce's favor. I see Breakout going Splyce's favor and the Frost. I think LG's favored in the Retail, and then the Crusher's a toss-up for me. But
so you're saying 3-0 Splyce?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 3-0 Splyce.
That would be extraordinary fashion. You're shaking your head. You're in disagreement here.
Bold for
I just think sort of that back half, similar to, you know, that series we just saw, that back half, it's so strong for Luminosity. Splyce does have to close this out because that Crusher, Luminosity's been perfect on it. Frost uplink. Yep. Saints destroys on that map. Retaliation. You had to talk about the NV4 duo. Not only Octane, but Classic. He's been so stellar on that map with the NV4. It's one of the only teams that we really see use 2 of them. So,
which way are you going though?
I think this is going to a second series.
Goes to a
Luminosity. If it goes second series, Splyce wins 100%.
Proof. Which way are you going for this first series?
LG first series 3-0.
LG 3. All right, I have 2 unbelievably bold.
Hey, this is the first time I'm getting bold out here. I'm showing favoritism.
I respect it.
Time to get bold.
We have a Splyce 3-0, a Luminosity 3-0, and a Luminosity 3-2. Roughly 3-2. Yes. Whatever it is, it's going to be a fantastic grand final. Cannot wait to get this underway. Can Europe finally do it? The question on all European Call of Duty fans' lips. For now, we can send it down to our casters for this series. It's all 3. We got Mr. X, we got Maven, and we got Kurt.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, take it away.
We decided to mix things up. It's the 3 amigos here for the grand final. How you doing, Matthew? You excited?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I've seen a lot of the Luminosity games throughout the weekend. They have looked so strong, but you can't discredit Splyce. This is such a strong team coming over from Europe. The only team coming over from Europe. Be huge for that scene if they're able to win here.
We were joking in the green room. We were saying, you know, super excited for this final. I mistakenly said LG versus Zero. But honestly, for the most part, it kind of is. From what we've seen so far this weekend, Zero with arguably the best individual performance I've ever seen since I've been involved in competitive Call of Duty. And to be honest, Octane's not too far behind.
Well, it's funny, we went into the FaZe match thinking, you know, this is their first real test. Maybe Zero will slow down. I think he upped his overall KD, if anything, after that monster performance. I guess for me is, who slows down first? Maybe is it Octane for LG? Is it going to be Zero for Splyce? They've been incredible.
It's going to be a battle, and a map like this, you think maybe Zero can kind of get the better edge. It's a little bit of a faster paced map. Maybe you can put a little bit more pressure on Octane. man, his shot has just been on point all day. He's been shooting lasers cross map.
Well, let's see if they can keep it going. It's game one of the grand final, North America's best versus Europe's best.
Oh, I love it, baby. Splyce again with the back of Europe, trying to see if they can take home a championship. We know what happened to them at that Call of Duty World League Championships last year, where they fell just short. This time now looking for vengeance against Luminosity, who's honestly looked like the best they've ever looked as a team since they were formed.
And talk to me, Matt. I want to hear a little bit about your opinion of Octane. You got 3 guys for him that are playing very, very aggressive, and he's looking over the top. What's it like to have a guy like that who's just backing up your squad?
You know, with almost like he's obviously got the NV4 in his hands, but it's almost like the effect like a great sniper would have, right? Where he just pins people in locations they don't want to come out and peek them, and it just gives his teammates just so much area on the map to operate.
Well, here we go. So far, basically a back and forth battle. A couple kills going either way. This one, I hope we're in for a treat. I want 2 best of 5s.
Oh, how many times have we seen the pro players tweet out before this series saying, wow, both of these squads have looked so good. This should be a fantastic final. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is the Stage 1 Playoffs Grand Final. And what that means, we can't stress it enough. Since Splyce have come from the winner's bracket, if LG want to take home the title, they need to win 2 best of 5s.
And I will say the guys on the desk, they were pretty high on Splyce. Their map set in the 2nd best of 5. But do they get shades of Birmingham, right? They come in, they get 3-0'd by Epsilon, 3-0'd again. They lose both of those in quick fashion.
Well, Matt, I got to ask you this, because I know you've obviously been a coach of some major teams in your Call of Duty career. When you look at a team like Splyce, is that not in the back of their head from what we've seen from them on Championship Sundays before?
I think it has to be. And I think, this is a match where they come in and, this is like a grow-up match. Like, you got to get out from being kind of that team where you're okay with 2nd and close it out. You know how important this first series is if you're Splyce.
All right, well, here we go. The action's starting to heat up inside a bar, and watching Bance try to get the better of Saints. Not able to do so. Jerd following it up. Nice shot to the burst. Only 8 in the clip, but not enough. Saints now picking up a couple of kills, sitting at 7 and 5. As Luminosity trying to fight back after a hot start from Splyce.
And look at your minimap right now. It's about to be just 4 straight-up gunfights as Splyce tries to flood towards this middle map area. Already in your kill feed, it's all yellow. As Jerd and Zero get things started, they surge right on through, and the only one remaining on Luminosity, well, it's none other than Octane, who just broke the 10-kill mark, the first player in the game to do so. Octane
seems to be keeping on pace. We'll see if Zero can do it as well. He's sitting at 6 and 6 right now, but Mad Cat's been there too. Coming into today, he was sitting, I think, a 1.17 third. I think he was tied with Formal up there atop the KDs. So as crazy as Zero has been, I know we've been highlighting him so much, but everybody on Splyce has been phenomenal.
Yeah, and these guys are just veterans of the scene, right? Mad Cat and Jerd, they've been playing for such a long time. They've been in finals against North American teams over in Europe. They put together some good performances here in NA. They have not found themselves as champions. This will be huge for their careers.
Oh yeah, and their owner in the venue this weekend, super excited to see how they perform. Obviously, Splyce, a major esports organization alongside Luminosity. I'm sure some of the other teams and other games also watching this one as well, with how much is on the line. About to be a tied game yet again, as Splyce have rotated on early, but now, Maven, it's Luminosity's time to go for the break.
Well, Slack trying to get in over the top. You saw an X-ray, several players to deal with, but it's Octane in the back winning the first. Slack just trying to play bait back and forth as Octane looks over him, and there it is, Octane 2 before he dropped. Slack with the last, but actually one more in bowling is going to soar out. But Matt, I have a question. You've been involved in COD esports forever, right? Whether it's coach, a player, for very briefly.
Hey, I played a champs.
That's true. That's true. You did. What, a top 10 KD or something?
No, stop.
Yeah, respawn. I was awful at S&D.
But I guess the question I have, if Splyce were to win, this is the first win ever on North American soil. How big is it? Is it like, are we making a bigger deal of it, or is it as huge? I think it's huge.
It's huge. I mean, I feel like COD esports is the only esport where North America is still the best. So I feel like we kind of lose everything if we lose this one. So I feel like it's huge for just Call of Duty esports as an overall scene, and especially Europe.
And, well, yeah, you mentioned Europe. Think of what the Call of Duty European fans have had to go through the last 4 weeks of the regular stage, watching these teams that you expect to maybe get into the top 2 fall just short. Obviously, Epsilon comes to mind, the heartbreaking losses that we saw from Millennium, Red Reserve, and Elevate also suffering as well. To only have Splyce coming into this, and now to have them on the verge of a major championship victory, they finally have a moment of light to celebrate.
Absolutely, but now as we get back to the action, Slack has a Trinity rocket to work with. He's having a nice start here at 9 and 9. A little over half a minute to go in the hard point as well as he's getting pushed in the top window. But it's like every time we're on with one of the more aggressive players, you see kills coming in over the top from Octane. It's Saints covering a mid-map here as you now got a 40-point advantage for Luminosity. We'll see if it can grow. Saints trying to rack up time.
Dude, we've highlighted Octane so much throughout the weekend, but Saints has really been the difference maker for me. Obviously, Octane, we know how strong he is with an assault rifle. He's just playing at another godly level. But Saints has really showed up in a big way so far.
He's gone back to the Saints of old. I mean, you know from facing him as well, Matt, back in Ghost. I mean, the guy was always consistent, was always above a 1.0 KD, and when you have that consistent slang, it gives your team so much confidence in your ability to clear out these lanes. Right now, it's a three-man hit towards this outer field area, Matt, and Splyce are just getting destroyed.
Every kill going in favor of LG. You see how far Splyce is spawning away. You also have the Trinity from Slack, so you have that over at Baseball, maybe even Bike Path if you want to play for a little bit more spawns towards the end. LG in a very good spot in map 1.
Yeah, you might be able to use it sooner than later if he keeps this streak going as he is getting toward doubling up that Trinity rocket. Trying to get away into the back barn. Madcat picks up a couple of kills. Madcat and Vance able to fly in and find the scrap time. 15 seconds remaining here. Saints the only one really. I like that. You see number 4 in the minimap. Instead of trying to re-challenge, there's no reason whatsoever. He rotates back through mid-map tunnel, and now he's set up as we're going to rotate out the bike.
Well, LG will be the one set up this time around. Last time they were going for the break from this back lemon side. Again, it's Octane starting things off already at 22 kills this game. On pace for way over 30 if he can keep this one up. The largest lead of the game so far for LG, though, now up to 50 seconds.
I think what's a little bit crazy about Octane, and I know that he has games where he does this, but it's been the number of engagements, too. It's not like he's having games. I know he's had a couple like 24 and 12 type games. But look at him right now. 24 and 18. So many more engagements than everybody else on his team for a player that you don't think that should be that number.
If you're shooting like this, I would be challenging everything as well.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was on this much fire, you know, playing so well, you see he's going to lose that fight to Vance there. But when you're playing that well and shooting from range, there's no reason not to challenge those.
I mean, Matt, does it not remind you a little bit of kind of what we saw from E6 when General was playing so well?
Yeah.
He would switch his role. If he was doing well on the hard point, they just let him play in there and they'd adapt to that. So far from what I'm seeing from LG, it's just whatever Octane's doing well, let him do it, and we'll fill the gaps.
Just play around him.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at the minimap real quick, because now going to statue, you do see that Splyce is set up and Jerd working on streaks a bit here. It's Zero poking out a bowling that's able to find the first kill as they come, but the LG flood about to come through. Zero holding strong, able to find another. Peeks into bowling. There it is. He is just snapping. Him and Jerd get it all done. Jerd's streak will finally end, but they still got control, and they've got that blue spawn coming in.
That's actually huge for Octane to stay alive right there. The shot beat down on the Vance and the two-piece to Madcat. With streaks coming right on through, it's Octane now at 29 and 21, a 4 streak. The man is still on a mission, just outperforming that of Splyce.
He's like a raid boss, man.
Yeah.
It feels like he just has so much more health than everybody else. It's like you're able to get through the others, but Octane just in the back, just causing so much chaos. You see, he doesn't pick up the kill there on Madcat, but gets him so low that Slack's able to pick it up pretty easy.
Well, we were watching this early verse phase in the uplink. It's like even if he wasn't getting the kills, every time somebody peeked him, he was getting them weak, right? But let's focus on the streaks coming in right now. 2 lining up for him, 7 streak. It's gonna keep going. 150 now off the Warden. God, this guy, 32 and 21. What an absolute treat to watch play.
Well, he's going to keep this one going. Another one-shot player. He knows there's more on the hard point. There it is. A Warden in the grand finals from Octane. It's only right from everything we've seen so far.
I tell you what, I think the best tournament I've ever seen an individual player play was probably Formal back at G3. I thought that his performance at that event was just insane. Like the best performance I've seen from an individual player. Octane's making a damn good case right here.
Him and Zero have, man.
Yeah.
It's been unreal. But, you know, I kind of asked at the beginning of this, will Octane or Zero, which one's going to slow down first right now? Octane absolutely getting the better of him. 13 more kills, less deaths, streaks raining from the heavens. He's able to find one, looking for one more in the backside, and there it is. 2 with the Trinity rocket. Still has the Warden in the sky. Bombardment waiting in his back pocket. Oh, yeah, the guy's got an NV4 that looks like a cannon.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if we see a bunch of blind eye right now being used from the side of Splyce. Obviously, that Warden in the air, not really shooting down at anybody, which wouldn't surprise me. These players have their classes all set up there. You can see it on your screen. Nice job by Aches to be ready for it. Was testing him there. That's now 234 to 157. LG are set up. They've got Octane shooting everything that's coming at him. 40 and 24. Second in the game, has 25 kills.
It's just like, they're going to win right now. But if this game went the distance, if it was down to the wire, we're talking 50, 55 kills. There's the final tick. LG, keep cruising. And Octane, I know we've been gassing you, buddy, but you are so deserving of it. It's insane what he's doing this weekend.
You're Splyce, you just look at each other, you're like, crap. like he's doing it again. Like what do you do at this moment in time?
Throw something at him? Unplug his controller?
On the stage?
No. That's what Maven would do.
Absolutely.
And that's why you're not a player.
Oh, absolutely.
What can they do in-game right now? I think
Maven would know.
Exactly. He would have no idea. But
I am a strategist.
okay, that's not even how you say that word, but let's move on.
Strategist.
There you go. Let's think of how strategist. Jesus. Let's think of how though Splyce can come back in the series, because here's the worry. When you used to face LG, there was a weakness. There was a game mode where you can come back in and do well. That is not the case this weekend. That is why they're in this grand final.
It was what I think they lost to E United 6-1 in the one breakout they played, if I remember correctly, back from the week. But here they've been so good. We know they've only dropped what, one search?
Yeah, to Optic,
point,
and they were 5-1 in round count.
Yep. Which is a loss, obviously, but one you should have won. So they should still be undefeated if it wasn't for the throw. It's great hearing from the guys how it's improved. I remember you and I had a long conversation. I can't remember what event it was. Way back to, I want to say Atlanta. Even last year when they were Rise with this trio, but you said, I think we both said, if they get to 50% in Search and Destroy, they will be top 2. If they improve beyond that, they will win tournaments.
I mean, they were so bad, it was like even get to 40%.
Yeah.
You like their chances, because they were winning 70% of their respawns. This is a team, like, just think about how, like, crazy it is. Like, we have, what, a hardpoint game 1, uplink game 3, hardpoint game 4. You're winning 70% of those 3 maps, and you're still losing series.
And the crazy thing is they had a higher respawn win percentage than the event champions that weekend. They had both uplink and hardpoint were above 70%, but their S&D was that abysmal that it brought them. They got knocked out in the game 5. I think they got knocked to the losers bracket in the game 5. It just shows how much they've turned it around as a team.
And man, that hard point, I was talking to the Optic guys, after the loss, and they said the one thing that kept throwing them off, and I remember, I think it was Fracento a long time ago from Rise told me this, with jetpacks, what they'd like to do is basically the first 3 in would fly up in the air, everybody looks to the sky to shoot them, their player in the back, which is Octane, just guns everybody down while they're looking to the stars trying to find the kills. You see it time and time again. You got Saints, Classic, flying at you, up off the wall runs, and Octane's just sitting back, beaming.
Well, what the joke has been so far this weekend is, yes, Octane's putting up these numbers like 40 kills right there. How many times have we swapped to his screen, though, where he was just getting free kills without actually taking any damage, without any bullets going back at him? Because he's playing so far back with that NV4 and hitting all those shots, and he's got 3 lead blockers at all times, Matt, how do you even stop that?
It's difficult. I mean, when the other guys are putting so much pressure on, it was a little bit easier, right? When Saints wasn't picking up a lot of wins in his gun battles. But now Saints, finishing a lot of kills, getting a lot of players weak. It's just even easier kills for Octane, which makes it, kind of off the spawn, you're thinking, like, even easier for Saints and Slack going forward.
Well, I was talking to the Optic guys, and they were like, it didn't feel like Octane was killing us, in the sense that it didn't feel like we were in a lot of one-on-ones. Like, you're right, it's him shooting them when they're in other gunfights, or him just getting them at range before it even becomes a gunfight. Just talking to Formal about it, talking to Scump about it. It seemed like they didn't realize how off he was actually going.
Yeah, I mean, he was just torching them. I mean, he was just cross-map. But you see a lot of his gunfights. I mean, he puts himself in such good positions, great positioning as a player. He's not in these situations, Jack, where he's got like a guy with a K-bar like flying behind him or in his face. Like, he is just in the right spot at the right time at every moment.
Talk about a map that I think could go either way, though, with Breakout, Search and Destroy being game 2. For Splyce, for me, you think a must-win. You look at from what we've seen so far this weekend with LG, we talk about their perfect Search and Destroy up to that, game that they threw away versus Optic Gaming. If they can keep this rolling, I think this is an LG 2-0 series lead right now.
Well, let's see if Splyce can bounce back. They have been brilliant all weekend long. We're starting off with Jerd. Erad in hand, looking to play aggressive off the rip, but you need to get rounds, and you need to get rounds early. Don't just get that loss out of your head.
This is going to be a very quick round right now from the setup. We're seeing 4 players from each team middle map. Who is it but Zero getting first blood onto the already weak Classic, who is in showers. Bance with the second kill, and LG, they lose the straight-up gunfights in mid-map this time around.
And Jack, you're our resident Search and Destroy expert here.
Thank you.
CWL talent staff. what is your thoughts on Breakout S&D? Like, what is the best strategy, at least that you've found, or maybe you've seen people use against you to just murder you?
For me, I think I like a lot, and I don't lose a lot, Matt. Yes, I do. But I think what I like a lot on this is getting mid-map control gives you the ability to easily rotate towards B or A wherever you get the opening engagement. We'll talk a little bit more about it as this round develops, though, as it's down to a 1v3 for Slacked. He's up against 3 of Europe's best now dead. But again, what do Splyce do there? They flood middle map. The NV4 of Zero gets first blood, and then once they get that opening, they realize, whoa, we're seeing a bunch here. They quickly bring that bomb in. You see where they plant it so they can't get shot from middle map. It's little things like that, the quick decision-making, that helps Splyce win that first map.
And this holds true for a lot of search maps. So talking to some of the pros about it, they said mid-map control is everything. You can rotate so quickly if you assert your dominance there by loading, by the visitor hut.
But this map, faster than any other. You can rotate from middle map, obviously quicker from anywhere, but look at how quick that mid lane is through those mid-spiral stairs. That's why it's one of the most important areas. Crim6, normally the guy for Optic Gaming who watches that side. Now from Splyce, they actually have 2 players favoring that area on the map.
Well, they're starting to back up a bit as they know Medical Bay has been taken over by the Luminosity side.
This is strange, Matt. Typically, you at least see some sort of contest. They're about to get a free plant.
Well, here they go. Is the collapse going to come in as Bance starts to peek, waiting on the call from the players on the rear side by the tank. Now Bance goes in behind, gets a free kill. Second inside medbay, not able to push him. Jerd still here, looking for kills, just hiding behind the bomb. Trying to play this slow. It's going to be a 3v2 here still for Splyce. Slacked and Saints trying to clutch up over the top. Weakens one, but not able to finish it. Now Slack by himself in a 1 versus 2. All 4 down. Another round for Splyce.
I agree with you, Jack. I didn't really love that positioning from Splyce. They gave it so much real estate over by the B bomb site. They allowed a free plant. They allowed them to get out of the site. But a very nice retake there from Splyce.
That was unacceptable if you're LG in that round. You have 3 players watching the mid-spiral stairs. Bance not only runs up, he slides and gets the kill on your bomb planter and nearly gets out with his life. There's no way he should ever be shot in the back in that scenario.
I don't know if that's a miscommunication or maybe an extra player focused on the back tank when Jerd peaked.
He might have gotten like a great time.
Well, he had to have, but that can't happen. That cannot happen. That's the most important place to watch when you're in that spot. Make sure nobody able to fly through and find a free pick. But let's get back to Splyce on offense, leading 2-0, but down a game in the series.
And you see Bance starting off 3-1, has the bomb in his hands. He's going to be your active camo player for the side of Splyce. So you look on the side of LG, Classic 0-2, not gotten off to a great start. You see the difference in their camo meter.
And if you talk about 2 players that have to be good, it's Bance and Zero, and both going very strong. I think Zero is a 200 or so off a Trinity rocket, plus he's getting very close to reactive armor early in this. I mean, look, already over halfway to go. These 2 guys, man, I know there are a lot of players that can light it up for Splyce, but they are truly special.
I want to see LG stick together now on this mini-map. Watch those blue arrows. You got 4 closing in near that mid lane. Splyce have begun to show, so now these engagements should be coming in here. Quick Classic with 1 on the Bance, and Matt Cat trades it right out.
Well, you're down a man for Splyce, trying to even things up. We're watching Zero mid. You don't re-challenge that, not with Zero. It's okay, it's Octane. Maybe you do in that scenario, but it's Slack now in a 1 versus 2, 25 seconds on the clock. Zero has spotted him over the top. They find the kill, and Splyce keeps on rolling.
And now you're seeing LG. The pressure is being put on them in search and destroy. They've been pretty good up until this moment in time, really dominant in their performances. Now they find themselves down 0-3. And how many times, Jack, have we seen LG, they start out hot in S&D. The other team starts to like get aggressive or whatever. They fall back and they don't play their game anymore.
Yeah, and what's also funny is when we think back to their week in the regular stage, it was moments where LG were looking better in Search and Destroy, but then they would just have these certain plays and rounds where it was the LG of old. I think that's a perfect example right there. The LG of old shows. You have different players running at different paces, some sprinting in while others are holding angles. You got to be on the same page if you're LG right there, and Splyce capitalize on it. They're now up 3-0 in this game too.
Well, now Bance was playing slow in the bush. It's Octane versus Zero here on the outside, as he's just passively looking over that A side. First gunfight, gonna go to Mad Cat. He's 5-0, Zero's 5-0. They are slaughtering Luminosity right now, and I think both just a kill or 2 really away from picking up streaks.
And right now, Splyce have no worry about getting flanked. Obviously, there's a late one beginning to develop from Classic, but they have full knowledge that there is only a player inside the site, and there's a player in that back commissary side. They're about to push on through, so this diffuse time ticking down, though. Classic with a potentially a round-saving kill.
Zero now Gonna be on his screen as he's trying to make a play. Gonna be the last man up is actually Bance in a 1 versus 2. He turns into a 1v1, but no time to work with here. He'll be able to win the gunfight, but with 4 seconds left. I mean, it gets him closer to Camo, though.
Yes.
For me, it's classic, though. He wins that first gunfight against Mad Cat, just buys his teammates enough time to stall that round out on the bomb. That is a huge gunfight there from Classic.
Yep.
Probably keeps LG in this game. I mean, they go up 4-0. You're looking at them to put it away.
And what I do want to bring up there is, look, yes, Splyce didn't win that round, Matt, but look at how much information they got from Mad Cat pushing out and getting that first blood onto Saints. They knew there was no one kind of flanking from Grave. They knew they had full mid-map control, and they had the outer wall run watch. There was literally inside showers and back commissary where they knew the only other two were.
Yeah, and the guy we've been talking a lot about, Octane, 0-4 here.
Sheesh.
On Breakout S&D. Not a great start. Need him to pick it up.
41 kills in hardpoint to the 0-4 start. Well,
he's 0-4, and Bance, Mad Cat, and Zero are 15-4 combined. Quite
Camo.
The difference. This will give him Camo. You see they're bunched up in the back. 3 players there. I think Bance just spotted at least 2, just trying to play his life. I know he wants to probably hold on to the Camo, but I was going to say go. You saw everybody there. He is cut down off the wall run.
Okay, so when you're on the wall run with Camo, you actually have that shadow on the wall. So that's how they're able to pick him off the wall so fast. The bomb is down, planted for Zero. He's gonna be able to win 1 gunfight. Can he win the second?
That is nasty, nasty stuff from my Splyce MVP so far this weekend. The first and the snapper, and that's on Octane.
Wow, Zero with the 1v2, just dug his teammate out of the grave for that poor use of Camo earlier. Wins the round for his team and puts Splyce back up by 3.
My God. The guy has just been so,
what I love is,
so good.
Remember, Zero was the one who originally was the Camo player, so Bance misuses it there, and Zero's like, come on, man, you should know. Fine, I'll save us this round, but don't make that same
We've
mistake.
seen Bance misuse reactive, Camo. He's just, I obviously a better Camo player, I think, because I think Zero, probably the best reactive player in Europe. I actually do like that change-up of switching those 2 guys.
Well, that's what he used before he joined the team, right? Get him back to his comfort level. They wanted him playing like he was previously. And I think it's done the trick. They have been so good, but we are on with Bance mid-map. 40 seconds left to work the defuse. You're trailing by a man. You can't let him sneak up spiral again. Hey, at least they're looking over it this time.
Yeah, right.
A nade should weaken 1 inside a medical bay, but this seems an impossible task. Is 2 are looking, okay, you give him 1 free kill now. Now it's a 1v3. Now maybe you're looking for a way off the map.
They have Classic alive. He has his Camo. Bance just going to go off the side of the cliff. It'll be round number 2 for Luminosity. And what's crazy to just kind of think about, just kind of like step back for a second, is Splyce only team from Europe. Obviously, none of the European teams probably putting in a ton of time because they have a ton of time before Anaheim, right? A lot of teams taking breaks. Like their practice, speaking of these guys, was not great coming into this event.
Not great, you mean non-existent?
Non-existent. I mean, they were scrimming teams, begging teams to play them, on Thursday before we got started here. It's crazy to see them come back and have this great performance.
And sometimes, I'll see people take shots at them on Twitter or something. Like, play anybody, even if it's a lower tier team. But you have to understand, like, at the level these guys are playing, that's not going to help them. If anything, that can hurt them. You need to play people to your competition level. Otherwise, it's not practice. So it really, I think I'm with you. It is so impressive what they've been able to do.
Sorry to cut you off here, but Splyce just get a free plant. There's no one even near for LG. I'm guessing they're playing around a Camo retake from Classic, knowing they have that payload.
I guess it's the only thing that makes sense. But here's what LG, we've seen them do in the past. They just stop putting that pressure on, which gets them round wins. And now you're going to be forced to use the Camo. Here comes Classic. Catches 1. So he's going to be able to pick up Bance, but he's quickly traded out.
Turns into a 3v3. Time going to be ticking away. Octane tries to snap the bait and switch. He actually might end up getting behind a couple of players here. There's 1 left at Saints in a 1v1. Zero pops the reactive and guns him.
Zero again. That time, he gets 2 kills, earns the payload, and uses it right away, knowing, look, before he even slides out, just knows he's got to challenge that gunfight if they want to go for the defuse. He has to fight me right now. Pops the reactive, continuing to show his confidence in his own gameplay.
Somewhere, Brycey is having heart palpitations.
Oh, yeah.
This one, spilling his tea all over his desktop.
Tea and some porridge. Sitting there in a white beater and sweating. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, let's get that.
Central air is beautiful in America.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But as much as we're talking about Zero, I mean, Bance and Mad Cat have been phenomenal as well. But Zero going to be playing at the back tank.
Yeah.
There's a pinch that is developing. You saw 2 players on the flank. That's going to be Jordan and Bance. We're trying to get in, but they had a
That trophy system just told Mad Cat someone's going to run there.
Yeah, they don't just appear out of nowhere.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. I'm an analyst.
There you go. See, but right now, Splyce, they have the number advantage 4v2. Now a 4v1. Give Mad Cat the ace. The Europeans are coming. 1-1 in the grand final.
They're not just coming, they are here, man.
Someone tell Paul Revere.
Oh, I almost tripped and fell there, but I'm okay. I'm all right. Splyce. Brilliant performance to bounce back from, getting slammed a bit there in the game one, and now we've got ourselves a series. And remember, just a reminder to those of you at home, Splyce coming out of the winner's bracket. LG would have to beat them twice here, so Splyce maybe a little house money to work with. But, God, this is as back and forth as we'd hoped it'd be.
Well, game number 3 will be Frost Uplink, and we've seen Splyce in the past. They run 4 ERADs on this map, play right in your face. Octane, a little bit shaky in that last map. Now a lot of pressure is going to be put on him. It's a map that a lot of NV4 AR players really don't enjoy.
Isn't that where we saw Saints, though? I think day one dropped like 40 plus. He was absolutely huge. I think they're going to need that Saints here. If that pressure is going to be coming in, he's going to have to be brilliant. Then also Classic, kind of that SMG duo, needs to go big. But guys, series tied up 1-1 here in the grand final. $200,000 for first place on the line. We'll be back after this quick break.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your grand finals G Fuel key player matchup. This one between Bance and Classic. Again, the active camo players for their respective squads. So important in uplink, and you can see the uplink win rate does favor Splyce up to this point, but the slaying power that Classic brings must be taken note of. 1.07 from him, 22 total points. The guy's an absolute beast. everything we know so far this weekend, both of these squads have looked so good across all the different game modes. It strictly comes down to who can show up here to take the series lead 2-1. This is your Grand Finals G Fuel key player matchup.
The first time I was ever at this arena, I missed a dunk against Optic for the loss at Season 3 playoffs, and that was probably one of my most embarrassing moments through my lifetime, even though it's COD related. Pretty tough.
We were at a pep rally, and I was walking up front, and my friend came down and just pants me. I turned around, I drop kicked him, and broke his rib.
One time, I got home late. My grandpa was super mad. He chased me around my house in a circle for 10 minutes. It was embarrassing because my friends were watching, just laughing.
Me and my girlfriend were flying to a tournament, and my buddy from college, he married this girl named Logan. And there was this girl in the line that looked exactly like her. And so then she goes through security, and she's passing me, and I was like, Logan. And she looks over at me and she goes, stop hitting on me. And I was like, no, this is my girlfriend next to me, I'm not. And she's like, hitting on me at 6 a.m. and shakes her head and starts walking away, and everyone just started giving me the stink eye. And I was I was red-faced all day from that. My girlfriend still doesn't let me live it down.
I mean, recently my hair started falling out. Don't know if it's a shampoo or whatnot, but it's not looking good for me. I'm going to be bald by the time the next game comes out, I think, so.
Zero may be one of the best players in this matchup, but he has a general obsession with hair. I mean, during Hot Mic, he picked several people because they're quote-unquote cool hair.
I believe that's what he said about me.
I think he's got a lot, though. Look at that. That's not falling out, man.
No, I would categorize your head as falling out, not his head.
That's more of a fell-out scenario.
Yeah, no, definitely past heads down. Maybe his ball. But either way, we've known this, as we now know it's 1-1 going into game number 3. I saw Ake's tweet, Octane wins his team map number 1, Zero wins his team map number 2. Both MVPs so far this weekend, continuing to make a great case now as we head into uplink.
And trust me, we realize the other guys in this game, the 6 other,
they're great.
They've been playing fantastic, but these two have just been on another level. We'll continue to highlight them over the course of this series. But Frost, Matt, and we were talking about it beforehand, how fast, how frantic the Splyce roster likes to make this map. How does LG maybe combat that?
It's going to be tough. I mean, they're going to have to run some ERADs of their own. But I think a player who actually is in a good spot to have a really good match here could be Jerd. Jerd plays at such a fast pace and he usually doesn't put up a lot of kills, usually around even to maybe negative. But we see he does some really crafty things with the wall running and using the movement mechanics to get off some one-point throws. Could be a big factor in this one.
Now, I'll tell you what, one of the funniest things I think is for when Octane on this map, I've seen him run an NV4 the entire time. I'm not sure that'll be the case going up against what Splyce is going to do, but he's one of the few that's made it work on this map.
One thing I do want to point out as well, hardpoint, map number 1 on Throwback, 0 ERADs used between the two teams. It was basically all K-bars and NV4s. This time around, going to be a completely different story as we are following Jerd from the side of Splyce, well known for his submachine gun gameplay in his career, so it's no surprise to see him bring it out here.
Well, Jerd's trying to wrap in behind. Players are going to be coming off a spawn, though, so he's in a good spot to get his map, but instead, his teammates cleaning everything up, and this might be a bit of forward momentum if they can find the kills in towards sub bay. Unfortunately, it's slacked with a 2-piece there for LG to halt that push from Splyce.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to have a tough time running all of these ERADs, especially when they try and get all the way into the back, especially from this side of the map with the helipad, right? Because that is so much area for Octane to sit back there and pick them off from range, and you like his chances, NV4 against ERAD.
Oh, you do, but you do see you at least have a K-bar in the hands of Zero right now. I think he's been playing so well with it, but I was talking to Matt Cat earlier, and he thought it was unreal how well he did on Scorch, considering he plays 3-3 with a K-bar, and he had 4-4 and 5-5 players with ERAD and Zuma and Attach flying at him. He's like, he shouldn't have been able to drop 40 plus. That should not be possible, but I mean, he can do whatever he wants.
I mean, 3-3 is one of the lower sensitivity players we have in the entire league. Typically, the lowest you'll see is 3-4. Even right there, able to snap right on over to Saints. Use whatever sensitivity you want. Put it there simply. If you're Zero, if you're going to keep shooting this well. Either way, though, LG, they do get a few dead on Splyce. A chance now for a score, but unfortunately for them, Zero does come back off spawn and shut down Octane.
Saints still in aggressive position, but he gets cut down. As soon as he wraps back, it's not going to be a fight for mid-map. It's going to be blue arrows that get there first. Mad Cat and crew.
They're not ready for Jerd here at all.
Gonna have to get set up. Jerd, nice shots in behind. Can't finish the second. That's 3 in the kill feed here for Luminosity. This is a chance to get points. Drone in hand of Classic, wrapping the edge. Does he go for 1 or 2? He's up off the wall run, getting greedy with it. Oh, just barely gets the dunk. He grazed that one.
Wow, he got very lucky right there that the body from Splyce wasn't actually in the portal yet, Matt, because obviously, as we know, there's kind of that goaltending feature here in Infinite Warfare where if you have an enemy player in their portal and you go to jump on through with that drone at the same exact moment, it will actually not score, but they're just barely getting.
It looked like for a second that's what was going to happen. The one player from Splyce coming around the corner on the wall run is jumping right in because he thinks it's going to be a 1-point play. But it'll be Luminosity striking first, putting a 2-point play on the board. You see a lot of pressure from both teams coming in here towards Sub Bay.
The kills so far, though, going the way of LG. Octane's got the drone, just barely able to wrap the edge in, moving forward.
Another dunk.
Should be a dunk. He's got a player to work with. Classic covering over him. There's the dunk. Can't get away, but Classic is still there. Mad Cat actually clears out both. So for now, at least, the damage at home cleared by Splyce.
LG, what's the difference right now for them? Why they're so confidently getting these dunks is the wave of kills they're getting on Splyce's side of the map. One thing to remember on Frost, even if you're maybe 10% into the enemy's base, because of how small of a route you have to take, that 5-second respawn is enough time for you to go for that quick dunk. It's happened twice now for LG, and the interception as well from Octane to keep Splyce scoreless.
They are the best at intercepting the drone in uplink. I think all the way back when I believe it slacked in Classic on Elevate, all the way back in Advanced Warfare. We saw Octane be tremendous during that game as well with intercepting the drone. It is so important in this game mode.
But Matt, it also seems like every time someone goes for an interception, there's a second player there. They always have multiple bodies, making sure it's not just one player's job.
No, yeah, they send multiple players up and they stagger their jumps, right? So like the first player doesn't jump as the second time the second guy because obviously then if they just hold on, both players are going to float to the ground at the same time. So they make it very difficult by timing their jumps to be offset from each other, which allows them to get a lot of these interceptions.
Well, some excellent defense out of LG. Looks to be turning into offense now as they hit the outside cliff. It's going to be Classic around the outside. Can Splyce come up on defense or will a deep one go through? Nope, cut down. A couple kills from Bance and Zero getting involved as well.
And think right there, if LG do score that point, that would mean in their first 3 pushes, they've scored from pushing through Sub Bay, they've scored from pushing through Ice, and they would have scored from pushing the outer wall run. Every lane being used. Another defensive hold right there. That's the 3rd one now for LG to keep Splyce with 0 points.
I got a question for you, Matt. We saw that they could win the search here for Splyce, but we're now have about 15 minutes of gameplay and respawns, and it seems that Luminosity is the better team. Do you think it's maybe a map thing, or are they just going to be superior throughout this, or do you just need to see more gameplay up to this point?
I mean, we've seen Splyce be really good on this map in the past, and I mean, right there, a scoring opportunity. They had a 3v2 going in to the LG base, and they were not able to convert that into points. So, not good signs for Splyce in the respawns thus far, but still a lot of time left in this series, and obviously potentially maybe a second one.
And I believe the slang is dead even right now, but a 4-0 advantage for Luminosity. What's that result of, Jack? Just Splyce getting kills on defense while Luminosity's getting kills on the other end?
Exactly that. When you look at the kills that have come in for Luminosity to get the scores, it was on the Splyce side of the map. They immediately got the dunks right after. This has not been a very offensive-heavy game, really, for either team. A lot of the gunfights have gone down around, the middle of the Robo Bay, in middle map. But it just comes down to the second wave of kills that LG has gotten, which Splyce has yet to. As we head into side 2, it's a 2-possession game. Still absolutely possible for Splyce to come back. But you're going to need to see more kills, especially in the LG side of the map, if Splyce want to score.
And you got to think about the difference here. 200,000 for first, 120,000 for second. Basically, you're playing a best of 5 for 20K a person when it gets down to it, which is crazy. I mean, 20K for one, that's more than most prize pools in existence for Call of Duty. Just insane stuff here this weekend. Splyce trying to fight back, but they need to get going early in the second half.
The biggest tournament we've ever had outside of COD Champs. Yep. I mean, it's such a large prize pool, such an important match, and we saw Splyce last year in our COD Champs finals. Now it's just these big events, man, they turn up.
They absolutely do. They have a couple down right now as well. Nice shots from Bance. There's another in Sub Bay. Apparently he's not aware he's here. Oh, okay, neither player it seemed for a second were. But they're going back and forth in Sub Bay. Drone, though, in the hands of Mad Cap, and he only has 0 to cover him right now.
Right now, they just need to drop the drone. You just need to drop the drone if you're Mad Cap. You're basically running forward and just dying. Yes, okay, that was cute for a moment there, but what was that from Splyce? They had no chance to score right there. They were nowhere even near the portal. There was everyone up for LG. You've got to know when to cut your losses, drop the objective, and play for kills.
Well, now 3 kills going the way of LG. It's another opportunity for them to start steaming forward. Mad Cat, the lone man up. He's at least able to pick up Octane, but it's slacked up over the top, around the edge, and one more point on the board. 5-0 advantage. It has been all LG.
Yeah, make it easy on yourself. Don't have to force it in for 2. You already have a nice lead. Now, 5-0. You kind of eliminate like Camo coming into play and really kind of turning the tides. Like even if they get a play with that, you still are. You're going to have Camo on your own guy with Classic. Still a lot of time left. He's very well on his way towards it. So Luminosity in a very good spot to take a 2-1 lead.
Already with that payload too.
They both seem on pace to get a Classic and Bance almost identical right now statistically as they work towards that Camo. A few in front, but 3 now going the way of Splyce. This is your best opportunity to get points on the board. Question is, will it be intercepted by the LG defense? Can they shut it down, Jack?
So here's an example where you need that second wave of kills for a dunk. Intercepted by LG, off the map, frantic play, 4 dead. They're getting to a point right now, Matt, where they're just tunnel visioning so hard on getting any point they can because they've been held scoreless for 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit frantic. You can tell, like, where they're just trying to focus so much on the objective that the slaying's kind of gone completely out the window. But, Jack, they've had some good opportunities, right?
Oh, yeah.
The first one gets intercepted. They go for a 1-point play. That one, we see an interception. Then they have a 3-on-2, which they can't convert into points.
Does it not remind you a little bit of kind of what we've critiqued FaZe on at times in Uplink, where it's like, yes, they'll maybe do some good job in slaying, and they'll be like, oh, guys, we haven't been scoring. Let's just focus so heavily on the objective, and then they have plays like that.
I think it's more impressive just from an all-around defensive standpoint for LG. I know there's been a couple interceptions, but the way they've held the line, sort of that bend but don't break, has been phenomenal for them on the defensive end. We saw Octane with a nice 2-piece. He's got 3 in a row at 23 and 17.
I would pop overdrive. Yeah,
there we go.
Great play right here from Octane. He knows he's got the timing window. His teammates are watching their cuts. That's a dunk, and now they're going to look to put on the hurt map. They've got the setup now for the spawn trap.
And they're spawning at the top side is Splyce. You see Octane coming on a little bit of a flank here. A lot of players coming through the mid-cut. He's able to pick up some kills here. This is going to be some more points for Luminosity. They're going to get drone. Should run it back towards sub bay, but it looks like he's going to take this one up top side.
Well, they know because Octane pushed towards the side, they know they force the spawns in towards sub bay. So there was already 3 players there for Splyce. Hey, they're playing keep away at this point. It's a 4-possession game. There hasn't been a close moment outside of the interceptions to where Splyce have even gone for a dunk.
The camo is not going to matter from either side with this scoreline. Neither have earned it, but who cares? It has been all LG in a game that the slaying wasn't all that lopsided, but the objective certainly was. Luminosity doing a better job of taking advantage when they can. This has been fantastic stuff from them, and I'm worried right now from Splyce. I don't know if you have a chance in the respawns. I really, really don't.
Well, they're going to have to figure out a way to win some of them.
They have to take
they have to take at least one. Yeah, I mean, the next game coming up, Retaliation, hardpoint. I mean, that definitely favors Luminosity.
Absolutely.
Be very tough. I mean, you're going to need a big game out of Zero coming up in the next one, but he played great in this one, 27-26, just not enough. They have not gotten any points on the board.
Octane currently at 66 kills between the 2 respawn games so far this series. 30+ per game mode. Insane stuff. Coming into today, the player with the most kills per map in respawn on average was Zero. He was above 32. Now Octane doing what he can to match that. Camo being used by Classic at this point. He's just doing it to add insult to injury. The beat down, the throw, not going to happen. But either way, Splyce will be held scoreless as LG are 1 map away from resetting the bracket.
And if they reset it, I guess the one positive you have for Splyce is you get some maps that you did really well against FaZe in the previous series. But right now, man, Luminosity just seems to be completely on another level.
You do get some good maps for Splyce in that second best of 5, but a lot of question marks come up with this team, man. They're not able to put it away, making it. Look, their groups, they go all the way to the end. They lose that Series 3 to Envy, they get second. Birmingham, they go all the way to the end. They lose 2 best of 5s in 3-0, 3-0 fashion to Epsilon. A lot of questions about this team if they're not able to close it out.
Listen, boys. We're not in that second best of 5 yet. As a proud European myself, Splyce still have a chance. Okay, I can't even make that up, but either way, Splyce still have a chance here. All right, we're going to game 4 hardpoint. Yes, LG are incredible at it. They've looked fantastic, but if there's any team that can band together and get a 50 bomb from a player, it's that man on your screen right there, Zero.
What do you think about the kind of body language from the guys right now? It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of chatter going on. Now we see George starting to talk a little bit to the guys, but does it look defeated or just kind of relax, take a deep breath?
They're just chilling. They are just chilling.
Yeah, these are kind of how these guys are.
Yeah.
It's not kind of odd to look at them and see them being like really calm, collected, like a little bit laid back. This is just kind of how this Splyce team is. I would not look into that whatsoever.
All right, well, we're going to keep going in this series. You mentioned going to be Retaliation coming up next. You talked about the fact that you favor LG heavily here. I obviously, NV4 in the hands of Octane, it can be very deadly, but what about this team makes them so good at Retaliation?
But also NV4 in the hands of Classic. We've seen Classic do some really nice things with the NV4 in his hands, and I think just really versatile, this LG team. Like when you switch out some players, right? Like you put an NV4 in somebody's hands for the K-Bar, like there's just a different player. Everybody on LG, nobody really dips down in terms of skill when you swap out weapons in their hands.
Oh, and what we've seen so far from LG too this weekend is they are one of the better teams at establishing a setup on a hardpoint and holding it for the full amount of time. In their last match versus FaZe on the final map in Breakout, they had 3 times where they held FaZe without a single second on a hill, where they earned a full 60. A map like Retaliation, you rotate early towards Grave, you rotate early towards Broken, and with how LG are with those NV4s you mentioned, you fully expect them to get a majority of that hill time.
It's amazing to see the run they're going on this weekend. You know, hung out with Octane and Slacked a little bit last night, and they were just like, man, we play like this, we can beat anyone. The confidence at an all-time high, and it has continued here into Sunday. I mean, it was a similar demeanor that I heard when talking to the Splyce guys, and they've been the 2 most impressive teams, just especially in the last couple of series, how bad they beat opponents. It's not like they're going to a game 5 that's back and forth. They've been just abusing, especially in the respawns. But Splyce, man, a lot of work to do, but thankfully still another best of 5 in their back pocket.
It's a team that's been here before. I know not North American soil, but they've been to the finals before. They've won them. You know, they've gone to those second best of 5s. It's an experienced squad, the team from Europe. I think, though, you know, this game 4, Jack, going to be very tough.
They won a map this time, though. They're not getting double 3-0'd like in Birmingham. They've won a map, but there are sites that are still on that trophy. Whether it takes 1 series or 2, do not count out Splyce at all. Again, we talk about the favored maps moving forward, but I can tell you right now, for the Splyce players, for the Splyce managers and media members here in the venue, and for all European Call of Duty fans, they want the series done now. They want them to win in game 4.
I agree with Jack. Everybody who's won a map should get a trophy. Even Millennium will get a trophy. They win a series.
I want a trophy.
No,
I want one.
They're not getting a trophy. Sorry, Mark EV, but that is blasphemy.
Love you, Mark.
And this isn't even World League, as you know.
I make all final saves on everything that is Call of Duty.
Just ask Killa.
That's scary.
Oh, he terrifies me. But it is now time for Retaliation. Hardpoint so far. The first 2 respawns going the way of Luminosity, Splyce. A lot of work to do. And I'm curious for you, Matt. I mean, we know Zero's done it consistently, and really the team overall has been very, very good. But who specifically has to go off here to match that slowing power of LG?
I think you need Jerd to play well. I think this is a game that, you know, obviously we've seen what the difference Saints has made, kind of raising his KD up a little bit. It's just made a world of a difference for Luminosity. If Jerd can play about even and, you know, you get that production from the other 3 guys, this is one Splyce can force a game 5.
Well, as we say that, Jerd is going to drop in the back. Bance the next to follow it up as he's trying to get the movement off the wall run, pushing with an NV4. And now in a bit of a tricky spot, trying to get shots over the top, has a teammate here to work with, both pushing around the corner.
Gosh.
But it's a 2-on-2 battle that goes the way of LG. Last person there, Jerd, takes a Civic to the face.
That just looked so frustrating for Bance. He put about 3 bullets into 4 different players, couldn't finish any of them in that scenario. LG already up 25-0, but we knew they were going to be good at this top hard point, especially when you have Slack joining in on the slaying fun as well at 3-0.
We'll see if Slack can keep this streak going. Still a ways to go to any of the important streaks, but the big thing, man, is just all objective points going the way of Luminosity. You can't get blanked on the first bridge.
And what did I mention right prior to this one? When LG get a setup they want, they are one of the better teams at making sure there is no chance for their opponent. They blank Splyce right off the bat, Matt, with that first kill.
And they're one of the better teams at breaking into hardpoints too, Jack. They get through these setups with just that raw slaying power. Right now, it's Splyce in control of lower market. You see everybody from LG spawning up that top cathedral, trying to get control of this top flat area.
Yeah, Classic's just got to wait. He's got help from his teammates now. You saw him not sprinting on through. He wanted to make sure there was trades available, but unfortunately for the side of LG, it's Jerd shutting down 3 members at top plat. What was a 42-0 lead? Now down to just 10 seconds.
Oh, you said you needed Jerd to go big. He's doing just that. 4th around the edge, but it's Slack getting the better of him. He flies out. There's 3 players there looking at him.
So 42-0 on the first hill for Luminosity as they don't give a single second to Splyce. Now on the lower street hardpoint, Matt, it's going to be 58 uncontested seconds for Splyce, but LG are fully set up now for Cathedral.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at this setup from Luminosity. Saints with 2, Slacked with 1. The rest of the time will be taken by Splyce, but Luminosity going to get it all back here.
I can't remember the last time I saw 2 perfect holds from opposing teams to kick off a map. But LG, can they do it again? Can they keep the rhythm going here?
For 2 teams that have played so fast, this is such a slow game so far. I mean, we have not seen any kills go down in a while, but it's going to be 2 to intro in for Splyce. This would be a huge break for them.
And so far, so good. They're able to finish off Saints. The break is in. And now the sprint across the bridge for LG. With 30 seconds left, you got one more crack at this. But that's it. It's 0. Lines them up. Beeman with the NB4. 3 in a row for him. Slow start, but now getting involved in the action.
Yeah, and this is what you wanted to see. 0. Your MVP so far getting involved. 81 to 60. Splyce do get the break and hold it for the rest of the scrap time, it does look like. Zero's just going to try to wait, though, until he's got at least a player here to help him go for this push. Unfortunately, his teammates all dying around him. And Matt, what's Zero's best play right now? Is it to wait?
Yeah, he's got it.
It's at lower street.
If he waits and his teammates can pick up 1 kill on the bottom side and he comes up with one of his teammates and picks one up here, obviously it'll spawn LG all the way out. Has a teammate trailing him. That's going to be Bance. Now they can start the attack.
There it is, the spawn out that you talked about, but Classic clutching up with 2 inside. Finally traded out by Bance. 0 in over the top. Finishes the first. 1 more there. You got to get in if you're Jordan Bance. The legion of Luminosity players are going to be coming in from behind.
They've already gotten the break that they wanted. Now they just need this next wave of kills. They pushed right on through. Mad Cat should have 1 dead. There it is with the help of Jerd. LG will be pushed on out for the moment, but again, they're trying to flood down this top bridge area, Matt, but there's pre-aiming NV4s here for the side of Splyce.
They're still getting time, though. Is Splyce Bance just backing up? Has Jerd in the front side of the hill, puts a lot of shots in 1, not able to finish off Octane. 0, though, comes up, picks up 2, but nobody else there to get the time. The last 10 seconds or so will go to LG.
It's going to be just about a 15-point game as we are going to begin to wrap out here. The yellow arrows on the minimap starting to sprint in towards Hotel Hallway. Jerd finds 2 kills on the backside. That'll give them the initial setup. 0, though, gunned by Slack. It'll be a 4v3 advantage for the moment. You see those blue arrows on the minimap starting to collapse in around this hotel. Mad Cat, though, Bance shutting down the initial wave of pushes. I think Jerd's coming in behind 1. So far, so good. Spawning still a destroyed building for LG.
And they're keeping these spawns just a little bit staggered. Look at this minimap right now. You've got 2 players from LG trying to push from one side. They've been spotted. A pinch now coming in. That's Jerd on the flank. They haven't been able to get 4 up to go for a push so far in this hardpoint, Matt.
And I talked a little bit about in the pregame, Jerd needed to step up on a 5 straight now, leading the lobby in kills. Just playing at such a fast pace. Just look at Jerd come on these flanks, picks up a 2-piece, not able to earn streaks though.
And 1 kill from 2 more streaks.
And he is flanking and flanking over. I know how many times have we seen him in the past 60 seconds shoot Luminosity players in the back? He's just being such an annoying player on the map. And it's working so effectively. Splyce now starting to blow this game open. Biggest lead they've had here. Let's see what Bance can do.
Slang was even. Now it's +7 in favor of Splyce. It's not a lot, but it makes a difference as this goes on. If we do remember, though, back to the first rotation, LG held Splyce scoreless on this hill. 42-0 last time. Right now, it's already 15-0 yet again.
Well, let's take a look at Bance as he's going to try and break.
They're nowhere near. They were nowhere near.
Yeah, not a single tick here. Maybe this time they can do it. Bance also trying to work towards streaks. Like 225 he was off the Trinity Rock. As we get back to him, he drops. It's Octane and Saints holding strong for LG. Mad Cat doing what he can behind the van. Unfortunately, not enough lives there as they fly forward and cut him down.
Yeah, that's why you saw Bance playing a little bit slow there. He was trying to earn those streaks, trying to set something up where his teammates can bait for him, get him some easy kills on bridge to earn those for later in the game. Not able to get any streaks. Jerd shut down his streaks earlier. That's 2 huge things in Luminosity's favor.
Man, that's something I do want to bring up. Bance is 8-6 with 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Weird. In the hardpoint. What does that say about how Splyce are playing right now on this map?
Oh, well, it just says, I mean, what you have is Jerd just kind of going outside of the hardpoint, just roaming around, picking up kills. Not many engagements inside of the hardpoint, which means they're doing a great job of getting control of the hill and making Luminosity fight these fights so far away from the hardpoint.
And so we're clear. I mean, Splyce still hasn't got a point on bridge, right? Just completely dominated both times.
Yeah, they got one or two. That was about it.
All right, well, so far, so good there at bridge. But let's see how they hold lower street. Splyce, it's so back and forth. It's like one perfect hold from LG brings them back in it. Then a flawless hold from Splyce puts them back in front. Bance trying to play his position here. There's a player on terrace to deal with. Zero picked one out of the sky. Now the Stampede coming forward, not able to pick one up before dropping. It looks to be LG control, but only about 10 seconds.
This, for me, is the big moment of the game right now. You've got the early rotation coming in for Splyce. They've got Mad Cat holding this bridge shot. Oh, nice shot from Classic right there.
Was he weak?
Yes, he was. He was
okay.
weak.
Sound like he was a sniper.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. But Splyce, they can almost secure themselves this map victory right here if they can hold this time, but already one player spawning out on your minimap.
Jerd almost does the business, but like you said, 2 kills now in for LG. Bance trying to play it slow, 1 to each side. He's getting swarmed. 3 from LG fly in. They get the break, and now they can claw their way back. And if they hold this flawlessly, we basically got a tie game again.
Yeah, and it's worst case scenario for Splyce. They have no streaks to break this, and they're all spawning over on the bridge. So they're going to have to send some players through the hotel, maybe all the way across to the market to be able to try and get in. But it's going to be Slack able to pick up Jerd. Going to give LG the advantage as they hold on.
And no payloads to use as well. Still the hold from Slack. He's got 2 streaks. This bombardment can come in clutch towards bridge. Either way, LG will hold. They will get the time and finally take back the lead. This is one of those collapses that EU teams just always seem to have. Fully streak now from Slack.
And that's huge. You know how many close games end on bridge, and those streaks will be absolutely massive for Slack. But now let's get to Destroy Building. It's going to be Bance. First man in. Jerd finding kills at mid-map. The lead. Back to Splyce. What a back-and-forth battle here between Europe and North America.
Yeah, and Splyce, you know, if you're just kind of coming into this hill, you need to hold it for the extended period of time. You need to get to a spot. Jerd with 2 big kills. He's on a 4 streak of his own. But you need to get it to a spot where you can win the game on Hotel Hallway. You potentially could even win it here.
They can win the game here right now. But them getting out of that hard point, will that be enough? That Trinity rocket being hovered is going to be enough to at least force another hill. And LG have a chance to go for a break right here unless Bance can go huge.
And Saints gets turned around a bit as Bance is juggling inside. Octane able to win the one-on-one, but Mad Cat should be able to follow this up. He's getting tagged from behind, tries to snap back, just back and forth here at the Destroyed Building. You look at the score, 225 for Splyce, 209 for LG. This is wild.
This is huge right now for Splyce to win on this hill, Matt. You think of the streak still available for the side of LG, at least what, bombardment? You've got 2 payloads. They're so close to taking it here. In my opinion, this is a must-win right now on Hotel Hallway.
There's a ton of utility for Luminosity if it goes to the bridge hardpoint. Splyce needs to break in. They need to win it here at Hotel Hallway.
You still have the bombardment. You have Centurion if you get in a position to drop this right now, but the time going in for LG, so far so good. You need time or just contest right now to push this a distance. Slack back to mid-map. Sees pressure from 2. Wisely going to dip away, pre-aim the side. They line up for him. A team kill fed by Slack. Oh my God. Splyce though, back inside. You gonna fly? Luminosity has to get there.
They have one final push, 243 to 223. LG now there. Kill still coming in for Splyce. Trades back and forth. 2 more players to kill. The final member of LG is shut down. No, it's Octane still contesting. The final kill is in. Classic tries to trade it. He stays alive with the camo. Getting the hard point.
Oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing?
227. We're going to a game 5.
What the hell was that?
Major blunder. Major blunder. Yes, don't get me wrong.
I'll be honest, I wasn't looking.
Tough spot to be in.
I wasn't even paying. I was so focused on that, I wasn't even paying attention to the next rotation to see if they had it set up anyway. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered. But Classic, man, get on your belly there and just wait.
It's happened, man. They won a respawn. Now all they need to do is clutch and search and destroy.
And you just think, if he stays on that hard point for another second, it goes to the bridge. They have, I believe, Centurion.
Yep.
They have a Trinity. I believe they have a bombardment. There's no way they lose that hill. There is zero chance they lose it.
I'd have to go back and watch the VOD. I didn't see. I was so locked in on Hotel Hall. I didn't see if there was already somebody from Splyce in a position on bridge.
And they had already outscored Splyce on that hill like 80-1 on that map. That kind of sums it up right there. Splyce have won a respawn against LG to force a game 5.
The only thing is, maybe he thinks the players of Splyce have already set up over a bridge. Maybe he gets a call from his teammates that they've seen all 4, and somebody just slides in. But man, huge play.
Well, how fun is this? It's all been about LG's improvements in Search and Destroy. Well, in this grand final, it's coming down to Crusher right after this break. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back in Splyce. The lone European squad has done it. They pushed it to a Game 5. It all comes down to Crusher, Search, and Destroy. This has been a blast so far. I'm glad that I got to share it with you guys.
Hey, this has been beautiful, just like this series. All I know is if Splyce take this, great, they win. I think if Splyce lose this, they get 3-0 in the second best of 5 by LG.
We've seen that happen
several times.
Yes.
Right? I think LG just come out and wipe the floor with them if we go to a
I think Splyce wins it here, Matt.
It's tough, man. I mean, we talked a lot about LG, their struggles in S&D, that is gone. We talked a lot about their struggles in Game 5s. They win one against Z United during their group week. But remember, Classic Octane and Slack, the core 3 of that Rise Nation team last year, they find themselves in the Stage 1 finals. They do all that work to get to that final map against Optic, and they lose it there.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Yeah, I love America, but I am rooting for Splyce. I love the story of it. Just getting that first victory on North American soil, like I love it. I want these guys to win. I know we're huge fans of the 8 guys that are on this stage, but God, man, I'll tell you what, you're not supposed to be biased. I get it, but my heart's pulling for these guys. It's been way too long.
I want to see a second series. I want the drama of all the pressure back on them again.
Yeah.
Just like at Birmingham and seeing what happens there. I think that would just be interesting to watch personally.
Definitely would. But shots of the LG guys now as they're getting dialed in for this guy. I love that it comes down to a search. Like that could decide it for them.
Maybe I am cursed. I have casted a few of the finals this year. I don't remember, but everyone has gone to a double series.
I could see you being cursed because my life has been significantly worse since I've known you.
So actually,
That's
the
true.
worst day I can remember in my entire life was I was in Atlanta and Scott Gandhi said to me, hey, this is my friend Clint Maven Evans. That's probably, I'll never forget that day. So horrible.
You guys are not very nice. You know what? I love being here.
You should have been in the middle here, Jack.
I really should have. I got to separate you two right now. All I know is, looking back on this weekend, it's been that man on your screen, Zero, his teammate Bans, who has near 3 minutes in the hard point on that last map. They're all fighting for that trophy right there and the title of CWL Global Pro League Stage 1 champions.
And let's talk for a moment about the other trophy. We have an MVP this weekend. With how good Zero and Octane have been just the whole weekend, is there anything that could change? Like, no matter who does what kind of in this, like they get it?
No, there's no argument. You can send in whatever you want on Twitter about MVPs. We already have them decided, but what you can send in, though, is questions for the winner. When this is all done, use the hashtag AskMLG on social media to have your question potentially asked on air.
Game 5 grand final. It's Splyce versus Luminosity. We are on board with Bance, your bomb carrier, your camo player. So much pressure on him to get the job done.
And look at this already. Mind games right away. Mad Cat trying to see if they can get over aggressive, and he spots a kill middle map. No trade, though. From the side of Splyce, back on the Classic, so it will be a 3v3. And look at where Splyce are. They are holed up all the way to the back of the map.
Well, now you see Splyce. They're going to have to rotate all the way over towards A here, Jack. 50 seconds left on the clock in this round. They got to go quick. And LG, they back off because they figure they cleared out the A site. They're going to rotate. Maybe they're trying to flank all the way through B. They're going to be surprised this bomb's going to be going down.
Some lucky time. It worked out very fortunately there for Splyce to get into the site.
I mean, both teams have negative knowledge, basically, right now. They're both clearing the map, but this could heavily favor Splyce. There's going to be a major engagement towards the backside of the map. Both teams pushing forward. A whiffed beat down, but either way, 2 players there. They should be able to kill off Saints here momentarily. No, he gets out with his life.
Great play by Saints to stay alive. 15 seconds on the clock. You got to get the bomb planted. Jur going to be the lone man. Knows there's one at the edge. Let's get a 1v1. No! You got to finish that and give yourself a chance. He may have been dead anyway, but...
Moments that swing games. That is a round that Splyce need to win on the biggest of stages every single time. Jurd, that's one of those areas kind of where you take your eye off the ball from sports, right? Jurd knew where that second kill was, so he wanted to snap onto him, and before the reaction could come in, get that second kill.
Saints wins in that round. Saints staying alive wins LG that round 1. Huge for their confidence here in Game 5.
I'll tell you what, with the $80,000 difference between first and second, you can almost start putting dollar amounts on blunders like that. But let's see if Splyce can't answer back, tagging up one Classic with the first kill. Able to answer back is Jurd. Can't finish off one more, so going to be trailing by a man. Classic just gets drop shot from Doom by Bance, but now Bance in a 1 versus 2. Similar situation with a lot more time that Jurd found himself in the last round. He's been spotted. Oh my God, I thought the laser was in there to turn this into a 1v1.
This is a tough scenario now for Splyce in this round. 1 versus 2. Objective has been planted. Big thing to note too, Saints closing in on that reactive armor, as well as that Scarab does get one. 1v1 at Bance has spotted the player. He knows he's close. Behind this crate, gonna go ahead and challenge again. Bance gets the kill! As Luminosity just decide that they don't want to work together.
And he's the camo player.
Oh,
that is huge for Splyce. Tied up at 1 round apiece. A big play there from Bance.
I love it from Bance. Zero emotion, just like cracks his neck left, cracks it right. Just another day at work, baby.
If you have any doubts in your mind about the future of European Call of Duty being centered around Zero and Bance, slap yourself in the face, because these two are superstars already and in the making. We're continuing to see them grow and impress more and more every event.
Well, let's see if they can keep it going. The analysis desk just started slapping themselves in the face to mock Jack's unintelligent line. And we are now on with Jurd into round 3.
My life is a mock.
I didn't even hear what Jack said, to be honest.
Oh, I tuned him out a little bit too. I live with the guy. It's like I bought a remote controller to hit the mute button
at all times. But look, LG, They go ahead, give up a plant, but they're nowhere near this site. The best part of this round right now for LG is they know Splyce have pushed on through. This is going to develop very quickly towards this back rock area.
They start to push forward, back up for the moment. The collapse should be coming in. Everybody in the hangar and the mid alley. First blood. Octane. Bance trying to find one, is able to pick up Classic. Trails going back and forth. Another there for Bance. Now Octane by himself in a 1 versus 3, and you're only 25 off the bombardment.
We're 3 rounds in. Bance already has camo, 2 streaks, and he's an assist away from this 3rd streak. Matt, this should be 3-0 Splyce.
And the threat of those streaks is going to be real dangerous for LG. You can't really kind of free roam over by that bomb site over on the outside. You're going to have to push in towards that inside bomb. It's huge for Splyce, just the threat of those streaks.
And that's a situation where typically Luminosity can come out on top, right? You know, those 4-on-4, that's a battle you want if you're LG, right? Splyce just gets the better hand, Jack.
Clutch play after clutch play right there from Splyce. Bad Cat gonna get a ton of information for his team. Get out of there, my friend. You've got streaks and a camo to go for the retake. Here we go already. Why are LG pushing towards this site? That's gonna earn him a 3rd streak, 2 free kills. How about the 3rd?
Bop, bop, bop. The Trinity
What are you
rocket
doing?
rocking Luminosity.
Yeah, so what I was talking about them not able to do is exactly what they tried to do, and that's why you can't do it.
Did they think that he wouldn't use it that early?
Or maybe they think he didn't. They had to know he had it.
And I'm sure
I mean,
they know,
he's 8-1.
I'm sure they know Bomb is down too. Octane, 1 versus 4. He's not on a streak. He's not even halfway to his payload yet.
But he is Lord Octane.
I mean, yes, you played great, but when you've got 4 players of Splyce ready to go, Bance, he's already 8-1, looking to add insult to injury. As this guy's not even using a Scarab. He's got Scorchers and Bombardment. 2 higher tiered streaks. Splyce up 3-1.
Oh, it's likely a mistake, but a convenient mistake.
Hey.
Now he has earned them all.
Now he just looks brilliant.
Yeah. Bance is a genius.
The mastermind of European Call of Duty. But I cannot get over the fact, so much talk about the LG search and destroy, it's coming down to 2 that Splyce may take.
Big thing to note there as well, Jerd, the other player who's doing well, gets that final kill too. So he's getting closer to streaks, he's getting closer to that next payload. Look, he's now 5-2, already near FTL, closing in on that Scarab.
Do you consider investing one of the streaks or active camo into this round?
Yes.
Obviously, we have the vision of the mini-map. I would not, but I think you definitely consider it if you can push all the way through the B site.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to think 4 rounds in, you've got a good opportunity to get another one if it comes the distance. We're likely going to be a camo play. He may get tagged from behind. The call it is going to come in. Grenade over the top. They're getting pushed. Slack's going to find the intro kill. They're going back and forth. If he gets into it, I mean, did you want him to use that there? Fly forward, hit the back rock like we see time and time again? Hey, we're in round 4.
It's so questionable. I think the big thing here is look at the final 2 piece. Who is it from? Classic, the camo player for LG. That's a round where you're just giving him free points to get closer to his payload.
Yeah, I think as soon as you see players, I think then you kind of pop the camo and you kind of push forward. I mean, even if he's able to get 1 kill in that round, it swings the trades in Splyce's favor.
Maybe he was planning to, but since that first blood went to Slack, he just sort of said, no, let's hold on for
it. This is going to be a quick round. This is going to be a very quick round if Splyce push on through. They haven't as of yet. No camo popped. You've got all 8 players near this A site.
Who's going to get this first blood? Bance using the bomb site for cover. You can see some dancing in the back for LG as well. Classic floats over the top, get what eyes he can. You keep thinking maybe the wrap out's going to come in, but they keep flirting with disaster here, just trying to find this first angle.
Nothing as of yet for both teams. No one wanted to get first blooded. Puckett mentioned it earlier this weekend. 70% of rounds plus are converted when first blood is gone, and it's Octane with the MV4 who strikes first. A trade coming in though for the side of Splyce to bring it back to a 3-on-3. A nice job by Bance and Jerd to get out with their life.
Yeah, play your life. You have camo to work with. Here we go. He's going to fly in. He gets tagged over the top. Has to make sure he at least gets 1. Awkward at first, but there is 2. Bance out by himself in a 1v1 going up against Slack. 30 seconds on the clock. He just spotted him. Just spotted him trying to play it. He's stuck against the back wall. Things going to develop around the backside now. The bomb's still down by A.
And Matt, he knows he's got to know where this bomb is down at. No,
he has no idea.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
He thinks he's bailed with the bomb to the site.
This timing could work out so perfectly. 10 seconds remaining. This has happened before, though. Slack will be able to see him through this side of the map. He doesn't spot him on the bomb. The bomb will go down, and Slack does cover. He's going to get out with his life.
Oh my God, Bance doesn't see him on the backside of the bomb. He spotted him though, wrapping back through mid.
Oh my God.
Strap on those Pumas. Try to trace him down. It's just a race. He's in the corner. There they get him, and Bance does it again.
Look at how ironic this is. Zero, who has literally barely had any bad maps this weekend, is 0-4. Does not have a single kill.
We've seen Splyce, though, in the past. I just remember that game. Obviously, completely different roster. Bant's the only one on it. Remember, stage 2, they're going up against Infused. It's like a hunted search and destroy. It was a game 5. They had everything. They had all the payloads. They had all the streaks. They don't even win that map, so would not count LG out.
Well, you know, you've seen those times where using streaks changes up your playstyle in a way, and sometimes it can hurt you.
And look, they've actually, sorry to cut you off, but they've given Bant the bomb back so he can try to earn a second camo in this game. He's already halfway to camo number 2, and Splyce see a huge push from LG. So what do? They rotate on the map, and this is so smart. I absolutely love this. They want these streaks outside, so what do? Instead of doing what everyone would do to go into A and play for that site, they re-wrap to B, and LG have no damn clue.
And you still have Mad Cat there outside of you, so if anyone tries to hit across mid-map, he's going to have a free kill. It looks like 3 hitting from the rear. It's going to be classic wrapping around the top side of the map. Now the flood from LG going to come in. Going to get the entry kill. There was a second to his left. One more over the top. Tagged up and weakened, but not yet finished. Turns behind. There it is. Classic now by himself has to clutch up in a 1 versus 3. 20 seconds left on the clock to work with. He somehow managed to stay alive, but it's not enough. Splyce 1 round away.
So they ping the streak. They get all the knowledge in the world. They know everyone on LG is. They're able to close that round out. And Splyce is 1 round away from being the first European team to win a tournament on North American soil.
That was one of the most brilliant shot calls I have seen so far in stage 1. The knowledge to rush through the map, retake the site. Now, just 4 stack A. LG have no choice but to push this area, or else they're gonna die to streaks down at B. This could be history in the making.
Here we go. Everybody getting forward for now. One over the top. It's Slack somehow able to get in behind and kill one. Trades back and forth. Mad Cat now by himself. LG like a python strikes.
I love it. LG with their backs against the wall go, boys. We just know what's worked for us in the past. Let's just fly. And they do just that. Slack, with no regard for his life, soars into 3 guns of Splyce and still somehow gets a kill.
Give me around 11 Octane. You got it in you. I see Ben on the desk sweating and stressed out, somewhere between a laugh and a cry.
Classic as camo.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, potentially
the tools are here. The tools are absolutely here.
I'm telling you, we saw Splyce, obviously completely different team, but blow a game like this in stage 2.
Stop it.
Think of all the 5-2 comebacks. Think of all the 5-2 comebacks. This game was 5-2. Hello, he's behind you. First blood for Octane.
Nice.
Second kill, potentially a team kill from Splyce. Mad Cat team kills Jerd. It's now a 1v3 for Zero.
Well, Zero has been the hero throughout the weekend. 60 seconds on the clock. Now has to clutch up in a 1v2, but you see where bomb is down, and it looks like LG very, very aware.
Do you have Saints pick up this bomb and try and get it down? I mean, potentially get closer to reactive, or, I mean, I don't know. It's a very difficult spot here. So actually,
it's LG
on defense, so Saints can't do that.
Yeah,
that's why you're our analyst.
Well, I go LG, very aware, and you go, they should pick up this bomb. I was like, huh?
Yeah, I just got completely lost there for a second.
It's all right. It's all right. Let's keep it going. Zero looking to clutch here. He spotted both, tags up one, almost able to finish him around the edge. But now time is his worst enemy. 20 seconds here to work with. Both players at full health, just peeking and peeking. He's got to make a call. Has to make a decision to try and make a play. Zero, you've had so many 2-piece throughout the course. This bullets in both. Almost finishes one and makes it interesting, but not yet.
Scorchers use that round too. So even less utility available. I will say though, if there's something to take away that's a positive thing, I guess you could say for Splyce, is that camo was used.
It's true.
So yeah, we do know that moving forward, that is not an ability that will be available for the side of LG. 5-4.
Oh man, this would be a brutal game. Splyce gives this one away.
Stop it, you're making me nervous. All right, round 10. Splyce, you just need one more for the first European on American soil, and there's the first blood for Bance. 3 remaining for LG. You still have a bombardment to work with.
Classic though with the trade. Number advantage now gone. Bance trying to play his life. He's gonna get away. 3 versus 3. As Mad Cat now tagged up 2. He gets out with a sliver of HP to reset the map.
Mad Cat and crew. Setup and waiting. Classic is going to be your bomb carrier for now. They've moved into the A site. This looks like it's going to need to be a retake coming out of Splyce. Once they decide to get it, here will come the plant. He'll be halfway towards that camo. Probably not going to get it again unless he kills everyone. But here we go. 3 versus 3. Splyce, the retake to win. LG, the hold to push around 11.
LG doing such a great job of making sure this bombardment is a non-factor as they continue to stay in the map. Do you ping it at a certain point? There's only 30 seconds left. You've got to go for a retake at some area. And this actually could be a best case scenario for the side of Splyce. No, they wind up giving up you at the worst time possible. Splyce are all there. They've got bodies now coming on in for LG. They check the bomb. There's the kill. Round 11 from 5-2 to 5-5.
Oh, sweet Christmas.
I can't take this. I can't take this. Look at that.
Octane uses that overdrive, gets around the corner, kills both players.
Oh my God.
It's a nice use that round.
I did ask Octane to get me to around 11.
Think of how brilliant LG have been with all these streaks that were available to make sure they are non-factors in this game.
Outside of the one round.
Outside of the Trinity, but I guess they learned from there. Here we go, folks. Round 11 for history to be made for Splyce, or an opportunity for LG to reset the bracket, and these two teams could not be further from each other on the map.
Here we go.
Look at all this information. He's gonna call it on in. They've got to go for a fast plant. You've got to plant the bomb right now if you're zero. Plant the objective.
Bombardment not connecting on anything. 4 up for either side. Bomb is planted. It's now a 4v4 hold.
It's simple.
LG takes it. We go to another best of 5. Splyce holds. It's victory for Europe. The collapse starting to build for Luminosity.
Already 15 seconds off the clock. LG are going to have to move, and they're going to have to move quick. Jerd with the first challenge. First blood for Splyce. More players from Luminosity charging on it. Dead, make it 3. 1 versus 3. Goodbye with a continent on their back. Splyce are the champions of the Call of Duty World League Stage 1, presented by PS4. History has been made.
You cannot be happier for these 4 gentlemen, for the European fans and viewers that they've gone through hell over the past month and a half, seeing team after team fall to relegation or get 3rd place. But it is Splyce. The hugs are out, the smiles are in. There you have it. Give them a round of applause. Splyce, your Stage 1 playoff champions.
Boys, first of all, it gives me great pleasure to congratulate you on your first championship. Not only North America, this has been 7 years coming. Band's first thoughts on this one?
It's just a good team effort, pretty much. We've held too many little L's to not get a big W this year. Me, Dylan, Jerd, second at 2 EU events when we should have arguably took it. And Trey's just a great player, so we all deserve it. We've all put in the effort, so it's just delaying the inevitable, really.
This team was almost made, and speaking to Trey in particular backstage, you said this team was made to win, to be the best, not only of Europe, but this was being made to be the best of the world. Trey, tough defeat in CWL Birmingham, reverse swept by Epsilon. How does this make up for that?
I don't think anyone can say anything to us anymore, but literally go back, put as much hard work as we did for this event, and just carry on the momentum going into the next tournaments.
Okay, and last question before we award the MVP. Last time the European won on NA Seoul was over 7 years ago. The last time European took down the North Americans, though, was actually back at EGLA. This one's to Madcat, actually. You were there. You're the person who's done this twice. You had, of course, Swizz behind you. Madcat, is he the factor or is it just yourself?
Today, Sunday, these two right here, they turned up. Jerd as well went in. I don't know what to say. I was just there trying to mentally keep these guys in the game. Was doing the right things, weren't shooting well, but you know, like we kept our heads. Even if you go negative, you need to do exactly. You need to play like you're dropping a 50 bomb. Like it's a final, and people say we don't turn up on Sunday as well. Shut your mouth, like we just done it.
Shut your mouth. We've just done it. I'd like to welcome, of course, the MVP trophy to the stage. I believe Chant is standing by. And, oh, this seems quite fitting here. He almost knows he's won it. It's Zero, it's Trey. We do have a couple of questions coming in from Twitter as well, guys. Just a couple of ones before you go ahead and celebrate. We had Purge Slayer say, who was your hardest opponent this weekend and why?
Our hardest opponent was probably LG. Their respawn is incredible. When we got Throwback first, I thought it was going to be 1-0 up. But props to them, they played insane. Nearly made the comeback, which is scary enough for EU as it is when we literally just lost 3-2 against E6. So yeah, props to LG for turning up.
Okay, and from As a Gold, what separates you guys from the rest of the teams, not only in North America, but really from the guys in Europe? Is there anything in particular that separates you from other European teams, Mad Cat?
I think that win there, everyone at home watching from Europe, all them top teams, you got to play the game. Like, you literally have to play the game. You're pissing me off. You're not playing the game. We had 3 scrims since week 1. Like, we've just proved you can do it, and we've been beat before in Europe. Epsilon beat us, so what can they do? What can Red Reserve do with their new roster? So play more. Like, this is your job. Like, don't get complacent. You haven't won anything yet. Let's go.
Okay, and the last question comes in from Psycho Panda. I'm going to ask this one to you, Jerd. Is there anything that we'll be looking out for you guys going into Anaheim? Anything that you'll be working on? Some flaws in your gameplay? I know you've just taken the whole thing, but people always say there's stuff to work on still.
Well, I mean, we still haven't got decent practice since Birmingham, so we still have a lot to work on. Our uplinks shaky at times. Our hardpoint is inconsistent. Like, gotta give props to LG. They're an insane hardpoint team. They really pushed us to the limit, but just kind of iron out the creases in our gameplay and just go ahead with it.
Okay, one last time, guys. Give it up for Splyce.
Splyce make history. The first ever European squad to win on North American soil. Aches, you had that feeling a couple of days ago. It came true. Merc, you yourself said that this could be the weekend for Europe, and they did not disappoint. It got a little scary towards the end, not gonna lie.
Oh
my heart was beating, my hands were a little sweaty there towards the end. I don't even imagine how the players felt, of course. But Splyce, they do it. And what a weekend, and what a result that is for Europe.
Absolutely. I mean, Mad Cat's right. I mean, you guys at home in Europe, practice, play against one another. You now have against the best team in the world to play against.
You have living proof, no pun intended.
Yeah, play as much as possible. I mean, we've been saying it for how long? I mean, Europe's always had the talent, just the teamwork has to be there, and finally we have a team who's done it.
Fantastic grand final as well. We're going to go ahead and break that one down. Congratulations once again, though, to Splyce, your stage 1.
And Marty,
champions.
big fan of Marty.
Big fan of Marty?
Big fan.
Big fan. Big fan, big fan. But map number 1, of course, the hardpoint throwback. It did go in LG's favor, and it was a dominant one as well, Proof. It looked like LG were on track to reset that bracket.
To let people know what I wrote down on my notes for this, I just put Octane greater than. That was it. I mean, he dropped, what, 40 on this map?
41.
Easily, too. Like, an easy 40 bomb. So Octane was just tearing it up. I thought that would continue for LG throughout the entire series. Kind of slowed down, but I have to admit, after the first map, I thought LG was going to get steamrolling.
And that's the thing. If you're Splyce, you know Luminosity's coming off a huge win against FaZe that first map. You know they're warmed up. They're in that zone. So, you know, a good job by Splyce to sort of bounce back. That was huge by them for game 2. But Octane, what else can you say? What a great event from him. Vance, a little bit of a slow game, but that throwback, Luminosity just looked great.
Obviously, we had a lot of eyes on that Zero versus Octane battle. Octane finishes with 41 kills, 24 deaths for Zero, 24-31. So it was technically advantage Octane and finally had a phenomenal map number 1. But something to kind of talk about a little bit. I know me and Merc were kind of talking about it. I do want to get your opinion on it, though. It seems as stage 1 has kind of developed, we're seeing teams kind of learn how to hold the first hill in so many hard points and really start to milk it in points. Is that something you've noticed as well?
Yeah, and it's important, right? Like, getting off to a good momentum like that, getting those early streaks really sets the tempo for your team for the rest of the game. But in that game 4 was really weird. Like, one team held at 60, then the other team held at 60. It's weird when it works like that. But yeah, the game or the first hill is really important to set that momentum for the rest of the map.
Especially just that second set of hills. I mean, typically that first hill, it's pretty. Everybody's trying to set up for that second one.
Right.
But that second set of rotation of hills, as soon as that starts, that first hill, you've seen teams be able to lock that down for 30 to 40 seconds. We saw it sort of in that game 1. I believe it was 85 to 85, and LG held that, and they held spawns for Barnes. So just a great job by them.
Let's not forget, Octane as well gets a Warden
Oh my God. Was that the first one we saw this weekend?
I think it was.
In the finals.
Pretty useless, though.
Extremely.
Still.
No one should ever be running a war. I think he did it to a little bragging rights. Just to look
Probably try to get in their head.
It was a good streak, but there is no sense of running a warden with a perk like Blind Eye.
Just like a floating UFO that doesn't do much.
It's something
Looks
that looks
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it looks cool, right? I mean, I just
Like, hey, I did that.
It just shows his dominance from the skies.
Octane was just like, guys, we're gonna win this map.
You know those planes that have a sign in the sky? The warden should just be like, this is
Like a blimp?
Octane.
Like a blimp with
You're
Octane.
losing the map. Yeah, that's what it should say.
You're getting dominated.
Welcome to Octane Land.
Oh, Octane, really a fantastic map number 1.
Yes.
Moving over to map number 2, though, all of a sudden Splyce flick a switch, and they go ahead and dominate the search and destroy. And ironically, it was Zero's turn to say, all right, well, you played better map 1. I've got it in map number 2. Starts off 5-0. Octane struggling at 0-3. And that was one of those staple performances that we've expected so far this weekend from Zero.
Yeah, I mean, Zero, Mad Cat as well had a great game, but just from map number 1 to map number 2, like, this is what you want if you're a championship caliber team. You have to be able to respond against these North American teams in the search and destroy. Because again, that game's reset. It's 1-1. You're going into uplink. You know, one of their best game types. A great response out of Splyce.
And something about Splyce is they're so good at getting the lead early on in S&D. Like they did at Game 5 as well. It's just, I mean, we were talking about the conversation. This is going to be an Octane versus Zero battle. Octane fired map 1, and you see Zero fire back map 2.
And again, just Splyce doing so good with First Blood. I feel like that contributes to their S&D game at this point. They're able to play so well with their numbers. I can hear the comms saying, back up, wait for me, wake up, or push, back up. And it just shows that their teamwork is on another level. When they get a First Blood, they're able to trade out effectively, and I think that's why their search game was so good this week.
Pretty good 10-2.
Yeah, he had a 2v1 round 5 that was absolutely ridiculous.
That's true. There was a key moment as well in there, though, Merc, which is something you pointed out, involving the camo and the effect wall running has on that camo. If you want to maybe just explain what happened.
Yeah, so basically now if you wall run with camo, I mean, you can sort of see that shadow. So if you are a camo player out there, we saw it in sort of the first series of the day with Octane and our Classic versus Formal. We saw Formal be able to see that. So you have to be able to sort of use that effectively, stay off those wall runs.
Be aware of it now.
Even if you wall run, you want a wall bounce kind of. You don't want to stay just on that wall running the entire time because you're so visible now.
Yeah, running in a straight line at that point.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Of course, Splyce still celebrating that victory, rightfully so. Heading over to map number 3, the uplink. It was all tied up at 1-1. And then LG come out, and I mean, for what we thought was going to be an extremely close uplink, turns out that LG's offensive execution, Merc, was just too damn good.
Yeah, I mean, like the slaying, it's not that crazy, right? Nobody's really going off. They're just executing so effectively. Even their defense, we've talked about it all the time, they're so good at intercepting things. Like, you just see them. They're doing it together. They're creating their own wall. Just a great, respawn team.
And I felt LG was doing a better job of getting multi-kills like all together. They'd get 3 down at one time, which allowed them to push better than Splyce. They would get like 1 by 1 by 1 and never really got all 3 dead or all 4 dead to get a good push going. And when they did do that, like Joe said, they would intercept it like you just saw on the screen and just make great defensive plays on LG's side.
The thing that allowed Splyce to dominate phase and uplink was kind of the opposite here. They had no defense. I think it might have been Frost versus the Throwback. They just weren't able to defend any of LG's pushes. They looked so solid, and then LG, of course, intercepting almost every single throw.
And as you said, that was very strange because we were kind of known now for Splyce to be a very good defensive team, and we didn't really get to see it there. And on the flip side for LG, I believe it was Maven that said that they're bending, but they're just not breaking. Merc, their defensive plays very, very good. But moving forward, it goes to that map number 4, of course, the hard point. And this one ended. It was a very, very crazy ending, of course. Classic pops his camo in the final hill with a second left, then leaves the hill, Merc. What was the thought process that went through that?
I just don't think he thought that guy in the hallway or that went platform from hallway is just going to get back on the hill because he saw the camo.
He played it greedy, right?
Yeah, he just played it greedy. He played for the kill. Maybe he thought he was going to come back. It was just 1 second ahead. His team was rotated. They had a bombardment. They probably could have closed out that game.
Yeah, definitely could. They were set up as well on that final hill. Something to note as well, Jared goes absolutely massive.
Finally. I have to give big ups for Jared. I've been waiting to see him do that this entire event, and when it came down to game 4, my man was getting 3 pieces, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, left and right. So Jared, good stuff, man.
For me, mainly what this series was, okay, we saw Octane go big game 1. We saw Zero go big game 2. But then Zero had help. Jared went big game 4. Vance went big game 5. Octane, no one really helped him out as much as Splyce did.
And game 3 was back and forth with LG just making the better plays overall, yeah.
And to the point that I made earlier on, you asked about that first hill, 91-2. Wow.
To me, what's actually more impressive is that second hill on Street. 91-13 for Splyce. That means they're just doing a great
Street's
job
a hard hill to hold.
controlling that platform where we always see so many angles on that hill. Great job by Splyce.
Yeah, fantastic, of course. That gives us a game 5 in the first set. We went in thinking, all right, well, we could potentially have that reset, or maybe Splyce will be crowned champions. And the S&D was the Bance show. He gets camo in round 3. He then proceeds to get a triple with his streak in the following round to go 3-1 up. And just as you're thinking, all right, this is done, this is over, somehow, someway, LG fight back, Merc.
Yeah, they played great around those streaks. They just kept hitting that inner bomb site, not letting those streaks be effective. And Splyce knew they had to do that, right? Because if they did plan on that outer bomb site at B, you know, he had, you know, the bombardment. It would have closed the game out. So just a great play calls by Luminosity.
And I think that huge 2v1 by Bance round 2 is what really got him going for the rest of that for the rest of that S&D. When you make a play like that, it's game 5. The momentum is just gonna go out of the roof when you clutch up like that.
Absolutely.
And he just carried it on for the rest of the.
For me,
S&D.
it's like that LG we saw round 8, 9, and 10. Like, where was that in the beginning of the game? I know Bance had a superstar start, but at the same time, they didn't stick to that same game plan they had in every other
How
S&D.
many times do streaks, because you know, if you watch, you can see when an enemy player has a streak, right?
Yeah.
And that sort of makes you aggressive, and we've seen so many comebacks almost happen because of that, because you have to play a certain play style. Again, if Luminosity does that right from the start, this might be a different game, but I agree with Proof. If that 1v2 doesn't happen versus Bance, this is probably a different ballgame.
I mean, there were so many moments, I feel, in that Search and Destroy where you're kind of sat going, wait, oh God, what was it? Like, it really was just kind of like heart-stopping stuff. I mean, it was a 5-2 lead, I believe.
Not again is what I was
Splyce.
thinking. LG versus Optic flashbacks were happening.
It was a ridiculous comeback. I mean, it was a great comeback. And what was really the catalyst, in your opinion, as to that round 11, essentially for LG to get to the round 11, I should say?
I don't know. Like, I just feel like they had that, hey, our backs are against the wall. We have nothing to lose. Let's just go at them and give it everything we got. We need to push this to a second set. We have nothing else to do here. Like, we know how they're playing. We just got to go at them. And they did. They won 3 rounds in a row. And then just that round 11 was so strange.
Oh, the round 11 play call out of Splyce I love. 3 hit mid, 1 sort of hold their bridge. They caught somebody off Luminosity. I don't know why he was alone middle.
It was slack. Yeah, he hit you.
I didn't like that play. I wish they would have stuck together because, again, Splyce gets that sort of first blood. That just changes the entire round.
Well, congratulations once again to Splyce, the Stage 1 champions. Europe's finally done it. Been waiting my whole career to see it.
I know
Finally
these
get
two
to
are
see it.
extremely happy about that, and I'm going to give my credit to Splyce. Good job, boys. Now I have to be an EU fan for next event.
And if you're
bandwagoner.
If you're a competitive Call of Duty fan, you finally have EU versus NA. Optic loses here, EU United loses here. You know, we have 4, you know, event winners this year. It's going to be an awesome rest of the year.
Madness!
It really is. And I mean, we'll take a look now at our bracket, of course, the championship bracket. Just to recap one final time. Of course, FaZe Clan versus Luminosity at the top side in the winners. FaZe progressed through. Splyce beat them 3-1 after beating Enigma 6 in that game 5. Enigma 6, we should talk about, they had a fantastic tournament as well. You look down on that loser side, Optic Gaming fall to Luminosity. Luminosity then beat FaZe Clan as well, but they just couldn't get the best of Splyce.
It was a great run by Luminosity. I mean,
oh my
starting.
Just looking at it, yeah.
Well, they fixed their S&D finally, right? Right. And then it fell in the grand finals where Splyce, they just couldn't close them.
LG, I didn't even realize they beat Optic, then they beat FaZe, and then they would have beat.
Yeah, arguably the hardest run of any team.
Yeah, that would have been absolutely amazing. And then to have to win 2 best-of-5s to do that is unreal. If they would have done it.
Very, very tough, unfortunately, for Luminosity. They weren't able to do it. They placed second, of course. But we were talking about how much action there is, and you were saying, you know, just how competitive this year feels. You know, we have so much Call of Duty action. Of course, we have Stage 2 coming up very soon. But before that, we have Anaheim. So it's like just Call of Duty esports left and right. And now going into that, Splyce, surely they're the favorites now.
Absolutely. I think you put them up there with probably Optic, you know, United,
hands down.
I think
Luminosity, FaZe.
I think Luminosity is probably the scariest North American team going into because of how they play against other North American teams, right?
And now you just have fired up teams, right? You have a fired up FaZe, you have a fired up Optic. I mean, the practice in between now and Anaheim, I'm sure is going to be
And you have a pissed off EU United who's looking
Anaheim is going to be lit.
Oh, it's gonna be. It's got to be very
A lot of teams are pissed off. A lot of.
June 16th to 18th, and of course, can any of the other European teams kind of step up to the plate? That is the question,
guys.
$200,000 on the line, but congratulations once again to Splyce, your Stage 1 playoff champions. Splyce making history as the first ever European team to win on North American soil. It has been an absolute privilege to bring you all the action from Stage 1, and we cannot wait for Stage 2. Of course, before that, however, we have MLG Anaheim with a massive $200,000 on the line. We'll see you June 16th for more Call of Duty esports action.